Metal Gear Solid 5 consists of 50 missions, and in this video I'll be going over all of them, how to beat them with an S rank first, and then achieving the side objectives. Metal Gear Solid 5 is not a particularly hard game, but there is a lot to do, and there are many objectives that may have simpler solutions than what is actually intended for you to do. For your first playthrough, you should work on completing all of the main story missions first, and once you've completed the main story fully, you can go back and tackle the side objectives, as the gear we use to do that often restricts our rank to an era below. This video will be structured in numerical order, with each mission's S rank and then the side objective run. Stuff like the side offs will be left to do on your own accord, but some things we'll tackle as soon as they come up since they're typically important for a first playthrough. When it comes to developing items, there are a lot of options, but we'll be using a small selection of very useful tools that are cheap and easy to develop. The assault rifle and Wu pistol are our starter weapons. They're reliable and they're useful throughout the entire game, so equip them and develop them as you progress. The run-off sniper rifle can be developed early, but once we get the legendary Gunsmith after mission 13, we can upgrade the non-lethal run-off with a suppressor, which makes it an extremely powerful tool despite its cheap cost. A rocket launcher would be useful for a boss fight, as well as for eliminating vehicles, so develop one as soon as you can. We saved the PB shield for the second last mission of the chapter. Despite not using it for the majority of the game, it's useful to develop it for that one mission. It does require a blueprint to develop, but thankfully it's not a very hard one to get. The sneaking suit can be developed very early into the game. You can also get an alternative sneaking suit as a bonus item for Ground Zeroes. The sneaking suit muffles your footsteps and it's effective at night. Both of those are two very useful traits. Combat armor is very useful for boss fights, and only then. Still, you should develop it since it's very useful. Snake's bionic arm has many upgrades, both passive and active. The passive arm upgrades are completely free to deploy with, so develop them as soon as possible to get their effects. The stun arm is the best active arm choice because of its ability to deal with multiple targets at once. It's a difficult item to develop early on, so don't expect to use it for any of your first run of any mission, and reserve it for side ops or side objectives in the post-game. Hand grenades, C4, and flare supply grenades will be useful for certain tasks. You shouldn't confuse flare supplies with flare supports. Supply grenades will call in a supply drop for you, but support grenades will call in a helicopter to fight for you. We don't need support grenades, but supply grenades make calling in for supply drops very quick and easy. The cardboard box, night vision goggles, and magazines are acquired very early into the game, and you should never really unequip them since they all have great utility and cost basically nothing to use them. We'll tackle every mission strategy on a case-by-case basis, but overall your strategy should be to tranquilize everyone and Fulton as many soldiers out as you can. Fultoning out soldiers is the best way to increase Mother Base's level, and having a higher level will be important for developing certain items. Another important thing for you to do is to skip all of the cutscenes. A big factor for good mission scores is mission time, and any cutscenes that take place before tallying the score will affect your time, so skip all of them if you intend to get an S rank. But with all that said, let's get started. With the game booted up, skip your first cutscene. Now before we actually get into the game, you should go into the options and turn off reflex mode. This might seem kind of silly since reflex mode is very useful, but one of the side objectives for the very first mission in the game is to not trigger reflex mode. The easiest way to do that is to just turn it off. You'll just have to go through the camera tutorial. Your name and birthday don't really matter. You will get a special event if you start the game on your birthday. Now make your character. Your character doesn't affect much, but you will be able to play as your pre-made character once you've beaten the game fully. You can always change them later, so don't worry about this. And we're off to the races, okay. So unfortunately the prologue is going to be a lot of walking forward. That's just the unfortunate reality of it. Continue with skipping the cutscenes and make your way into the room. You'll have to get down on your stomach and crawl forward. Continue skipping all the cutscenes. And make your way forward. Now you have to get up and stay behind cover, and then sprint ahead. In their stairwell, make sure to stay by your friend. You can't progress until you're near him. You won't be able to skip this until you budge to the front of the line. Now for some sneaky gameplay. You're already on your stomach, so turn to your left and crawl under the furthest bed. They really can't see you here, so just stay here until they're done. Move forward and start playing dead. Once you skip the cutscene, go ahead and treat your serious injury. You do this by pressing the action button, and it's probably the only time you'll ever get a serious injury since it's so rare. Continue moving forward, and you'll acquire your first gun. You should be able to figure out pretty quickly how to aim and shoot. Moving ahead, you'll have to take out 2 guys. Shouldn't be too hard. In the main hall, there are a lot of soldiers here that you'll want to clear out. If you don't feel like it, you can always sneak by them or just run past them to the exit, but shooting them is pretty easy. When the coast is clear, head to the exit. You'll get a cutscene. The man on fire will be here. Run back to the entrance and dive out of the way. Run back to the entrance and now you actually leave. Continue with skipping some more cutscenes. And we'll begin the escape sequence. So the man on fire will be chasing you on horse. He has 2 attacks. The first is a fire spray if he gets too close to you. The second is a firewall attack if you get too far away from him. One of our side objectives is to not let him attack. Now, the firewall attack doesn't count as an attack, which is bizarre, but it works. The best way to make sure he doesn't do his fire spray attack is to just shoot him as soon as you see the red indicator on your crosshair. As long as you pace your shots well, you shouldn't run out of ammo. There are, however, 2 instances in where it is impossible to avoid the attack, but apparently it still doesn't fail the side objective. The first instance is coming up at this turn. It is physically impossible to turn your gun any further left to shoot him. The second is just shortly after. After he disappears behind the hill, he'll reappear right next to you. He'll do an attack that you can't avoid, but it doesn't do any damage either, so presumably they just expect that this is going to happen. Continue shooting the man on fire to draw him away, and once Ocelot starts talking about the harbor, you're in the home stretch. There's nothing else you can do here. Continue skipping the cutscenes, and we'll start the actual first mission. Remember to turn reflex mode back on. It is a very useful tool. You do lose a little bit of score if it triggers during the mission, but it is much better to turn it on and keep it on. Ocelot will run you through a tutorial about using your binoculars and marking. First thing you should do after the tutorial's done is get off your horse and turn into the ruins. Climbing up the cliffs, you'll see some rough diamonds. This is our very first side objective. head down and get back on D-Horse. Making your way forward, you'll encounter your first guard post. Feel free to take this time to brush up on your sneaking skills. It should be noted that as it is right now, without the sneaking suit, your footprints are audible even while crouching within 5 meters, so make sure you walk slowly up to guards to stay completely hidden. We can't Fulton right now, and we can't interrogate, so there's no point in doing anything with these guards. Just knock them out and leave him be. Get back on D-Horse, and instead of heading to the place that we marked, we're going to head straight to where Miller is, since we already know where he is. Here at Huandei Town, the first thing you should do is mark as many people as you can while you're here on the hill. Our goal is just going to be to come in through the backside, get Miller, and then leave. The path that we do take will have far fewer guards than if we were to head into the front entrance. There are still a few guards here, and since we can't Fulton them, you should put them out of sight. Head into the building, and finally, pick up Miller. Again, skip all the cutscenes, and with Miller in tow, head out the same way you came in. When Miller tells you to say the magic words while you're still carrying him, you can press the action button to say the magic words. This doesn't do anything, it's just for fun. Once the mist rolls in at the LZ, you'll have an encounter with the skulls. Dealing with the skulls can be a bit tricky since their AI is a bit wonky. The easiest way is to sit at the start of the bridge and wait. Hanging on the right side and down into the crevice, try and lure one of the skulls down into walking there. Once he starts walking down, head back onto the bridge, and with good luck, both of the skulls will be on the corner of the bridge, with one of them down the hill. This gives you a good opportunity to make your way across the bridge undetected. If you're a bit worried, you can throw magazines at the cliff wall, which will get their attention to look over there. When the coast is clear and you're far away, you can start sprinting, get on D-Horse, and make your way over to the LZ. The first mission of many, well done. Now to come back for some of the side objectives we missed, heading back to the town that we actually marked, Wealo Village, we need to talk about invoices. Invoices are very special, and you should collect them at every major outpost that we visit. Using invoices, we can use cardboard boxes to travel between any other invoice that we've already collected. This makes traveling very large distances very quick, which is very useful. Now, for the actual side objectives, here at Wealo Village, there's a transport truck driver that we want to get. He's located at the end of the village. He's not very hard to spot. Feel free to take his truck too. The truck isn't a side objective, but it's a free truck. Now, heading up into the large building with a satellite on it, you can get an intel file. Intel files will be a common theme among side objectives. This one is, and it'll tell you where Miller is. We didn't need it because we already knew where he was. Our last side objective is to go to Walksend Barracks and get the commander out of there. It's pretty far out there, but if you interrogate one of the soldiers, you can get the position of the commander and it'll make it really easy to find out where he is. Early into the game, none of the soldiers are really wearing armor. It makes it pretty simple when you're coming back with much better equipment than last time. One thing I should point out is that aborting the mission using your main menu saves the progress of your side objectives. If you don't feel like beating the rest of the mission again, you can always do that. But in the case of this first mission, if you don't want to deal with the skulls, you can just summon the helicopter in a different spot, and the skulls won't be there to bother you. There isn't a whole lot to say about Mission 2, it's just a tutorial about how to run Mother Base, as well as how to develop items and deal with your staff. There isn't a whole lot to say because Ocelot will tell you what to do. The only thing you need to know is that when Ocelot says to come pay him a visit, he actually has more training for you. This is a side objective that you can miss by getting on the helicopter too early, so when he says this, walk up to him and he'll summon more soldiers for you to train on. You'll develop the cardboard box in this mission. It's pretty useful, and it costs so little that you can always keep it equipped and bring it with you on every mission. Mission 3 is a fairly simple mission. All we have to do is get a target out. To do this, we'll basically tranquilize everyone inside of the base, vaulting them all out, and leave. Unfortunately, this does mean that getting an S rank is very difficult, and you probably won't do it your first time, but on our second run, we definitely will be getting that S rank, since our strategy for the second playthrough makes beating the mission very easy. From the hill you start at, you can go ahead and look at your binoculars to try and mark as many soldiers as you can. Once you've done that, it's a matter of putting on your night vision goggles and going ahead and tranquilizing everyone in sight. If you're worried about alerting guards, you can always start by shooting people in the stomach, in the arms, or in the legs. This delays their knockdown by quite a bit. It makes it so that you can land a shot on every single person before they start falling over. The target will be standing outside the main building having a chat with his soldiers. You can go ahead and tranquilize him and flatten him out whenever you like. Before you leave, you should go ahead and get the hidden materials underneath the bridge at the north exit. This is a side objective. When you're done with that, you're free to leave, call in the helicopter, and a mission well done. Our second run through, start by making your way over to the desert south of the map. We're looking for Halma. It's pretty difficult to spot even with night vision goggles, but if you look around, you'll be able to find it eventually. Now you should have brought a sniper rifle with you on this mission, and a lethal one is what you need. Head up to the hill you started at before, and mark the target. He's easy to spot by his hat. Take aim and fire. A single headshot or 2 body shots will do him in. Once he's out of commission, just head back the same way you came, and once you leave the hot zone, the mission will be over. Done with mission 3, you can go ahead and get the interpreter as a side op. Deploying south of guard post 23, you can get baby D-Dog. Can be pretty useful, so vault him out early. Getting the translator isn't hard, he isn't very well guarded. Mission 4 will be very simple. All you really need for this mission is hand grenades, and not much else. Once you deploy, head over to the Eastern Communications Post. Keep an eye out for wandering guards on the road. There are 2 that will get in your way. Feel free to call the helicopter in early since we'll be done very quickly. Head inside the outpost, hugging the left wall. Mark the radio transmitters. This is the side objective, so mark all 3 of them. Once they're marked, go ahead and start throwing grenades. It'll take 1 grenade for each transmitter. Don't bother shooting the transmitters, they really don't die all that quickly. Just throw grenades. When the last one's ready to blow, just leave. Head over to the helicopter and you'll be out in no time. Mission well done. Our side objective run is going to be a little bit out there. We need to head to Wheelo Village. There are 2 prisoners here. Finding them isn't too hard, especially if you brought D-Dog with you since this is your second run. Once you've Fultoned both of them out, start making your way back to the East Communications Post. You might as well go ahead and tranquilize everyone here since we have a lot of work to do. Go ahead and interrogate soldiers to get the position of the rough diamonds. It's in the valley overlooking the outpost on the left side. Next, look for the communications equipment. This is different from the transmitters in that blowing this up does the same thing as blowing up all of the transmitters. Lastly, Fulton yourself out on the container. The container itself is the objective. Fultoning out on top of it is just an easy way to leave. For mission 5, we simply need to get a prisoner out. From our position, a 4-wheel drive will be coming up from behind us. We can't do anything about it right now, so just ignore it. Up ahead you'll notice some guards wandering down the road. Take them out however you like. When the coast is clear, you can climb up the cracks in the cliffside. Make your way up and over to the right. Keep climbing up. And look for the overpass going over one of the entrances. On top of here is one of our prisoners. It's a bit noisy to Fulton him out right here, so take him over to where the soldier is standing in the corner. Inside of the actual base, there will be a few soldiers here that you'll have to tranquilize and take outside. But once the coast is clear, you can head inside and start looking for the prisoner. As a side note, when you pick locks, you can mash the action button to pick the lock even faster. It's not significantly faster, but it is noticeably faster. Once you've picked up the target, move him underneath one of the holes in the ceiling. Fultoning him out this way is one of our side objectives. Once he's out, call in the helicopter wherever you like, and head over there. Leave, and a mission well done. We only have a few more side objectives. Start by deploying at the same spot, and this time put a cardboard box down on the road. You can do this by getting inside of one and then diving. This leaves it on the road, making it a distraction for the driver. Once he stops, shoot him and take his vehicle. Lastly, there's a blueprint inside Lockson Barracks that we want to get. It's inside one of the dormitories. It's really not that hard to get it. You can really just shoot everyone with your sniper rifle, it's not that hard. Alternatively, if you brought stealth camo, you could just walk up and take it. It should be at this point that you have enough resources to get the sneaking suit. As soon as you do develop it, equip it, and never take it off except for boss fights. Mission 6 is pretty simple. Start by making your way over to the mountain relay base. Using your binoculars, you'll be able to see the prisoner on the other side of the base. Run down into the valley, they really can't see you here, and once you get up, just start tranquilizing everyone. Again, if you're not confident in your aim, you can always aim for the leg or for the body. Once everyone is down, try Fultoning out the prisoner and you'll get a cutscene. Skip it and actually Fulton him out. Clear the path forward and start making your way over to the Sma Laman. Keep an eye out for that helicopter and for any wandering guards on the road. Head into the leftmost valley, that's our best entrance in. Hug to the left side and start making your way inside the caves. This area can be quite tricky to navigate, but if you know where to climb up, you can make it to the target pretty quickly. Once you've dropped down, head left, keep an eye out for any guards. Make your way over to the target. Talking to the prisoner marked its location for us. Now make your way out the same way you came in, except this time start heading over to the holes in the cave side. You'll get a cutscene. After skipping these cutscenes, you'll encounter the skulls. There's no point in fighting them, so go ahead and climb up the cliffs you came from. The skulls won't track you down that far, so get back on D-Horse and just start running out of there. Once you're in the clear, call in the helicopter and leave. Coming back for our side objectives, there are 2 snipers here at the mountain relay base that we want to get, so go ahead and clear out the whole place. Our first sniper. Our second sniper. Next, we want to take out that gunship. Instead of using any rocket launcher ammo, you can use mounted guns to take on the helicopters since they're not that durable. You'll need to head over to guard post 14 since the other guard posts don't have a machine gun that can actually aim at the helicopter. Now for dealing with the skulls. Similarly, instead of using the honeybee, you can just hop onto the nearest mounted gun and take them out. It is deceptively easy how quickly they die. When they're all done, you can feel free to Fulton them out. Fultoning them is not a side objective, but they will give you mist parasites. Mission 7, like a lot of these early missions, is just a matter of taking out everyone. All 3 of the commanders will converge into Weilo Village. The easiest way to get all of them then would be to just clear out Weilo Village before they can get there, making it very easy to tranquilize them. There isn't a whole lot to say other than deploy at night and tranquilize everyone. The first commander will already be here, inside the building with the power generator next to it. If you work quickly, the second commander won't make it very far. Not long after the second commander shows up, the third commander will show up. Fultoning out all of the accompanying guards is a side objective, so make sure you get all of them. Lastly, there's a blueprint here. The blueprint isn't a side objective, but this is the PB shield. We'll need it for the second last mission of this chapter, so go ahead and get it. Once you've cleared out the place, call in the helicopter and leave. We have a few side objectives to deal with. Instead of deploying near Wheeler Village, go to Wande Town. There are 2 prisoners here. Due to how many soldiers there are here, the easiest way to do this would be to tranquilize every single person to make it so that no one will notice you fultoning out the prisoners. Because of how clumped up they are, a level 3 stun arm would make quick work of them. Once you've dealt with both prisoners, you can go ahead and run all the way back to Wheeler Village, or if you got invoices, you can invoice travel to there. We need to listen to the conversation of the 3 commanders. If you worked quickly enough, they'll still be in the middle of their conversation, so you'll still be able to get the side objective. There are 2 main methods for listening into conversations. You can either get close to them, around 40 meters or so, or you can just point your directional mic, aka your binoculars, at the person who's talking. Generally speaking, using your binoculars is a lot safer, but sometimes can bug things out if you're standing too far away. In this instance, you're free to use your binoculars or get close to them. You can climb on top of the power generator to get on top of the building, giving you a very good position to just listen in. As soon as they're done, tranquilize all of them, fulton them out, and leave. At this point in the game, you'll probably get a notification about Quiet. She's inside the Abe Shivab ruins. Now, we don't have to deal with her right now, but if you do go there, you'll have to fight her. For now, just ignore her. While you're out and about, you should go ahead and do some side ops. The Lost Little Sheep side op is a good one to do since it'll get you used to catching animals. Mission 8 can be a bit tricky. Go ahead and bring C4 and a rocket launcher. As soon as you deploy, you're going to have to deal with this first guard post. It shouldn't be too difficult. Once they're cleared out, head up the road and turn left. You might have been wondering why the mission area extends so far off the left side, and that's because this is where the vehicles come from. Set up C4 in advance and blow up the first tank. Then, if you brought your rocket launcher, shoot the colonel and blow him up. We really don't care about fultoning him out this time. If you didn't, you'll just have to shoot out the tires to stun him for a while, then deal with the second tank. If you still haven't dealt with the Colonel, go ahead and chase him using D-Horse. Once the Colonel is dealt with, you can go ahead and leave the mission. Coming back for our side objectives, this time using electromagnetic mines. You can go ahead and stun the first tank, then come in from behind and Fulton out the vehicles from behind. Be careful when you're crawling up to the first tank. When an armored vehicle is stunned, it turns around to its backside. Heading over to Sakurai village, we have a prisoner to take out, and we have an intel file to get. If you don't feel like Fultoning out the Colonel right here, you can go ahead and put him in a hold-up. Hold-ups are useful since they put a target down and they won't be able to get up on their own unless you go into a combat phase. Clearing out this village is pretty easy since there's not a whole lot here to stop you. Head over to the other end of the village. Our prisoner is over in the building. Continue clearing out the place, and on the upper level, you'll find our intel file. With all that out of the way, you can go ahead and clear out the rest of the village, taking out any equipment you see, as well as the anti-air equipment, and don't forget to take the Colonel with you. Mission 9. This is an unfortunate mission, because we'll be doing it a lot. Start by deploying south near Lamar Hatte Palace. Make sure you bring a rocket launcher and C4. Start by heading east. You'll notice 4 soldiers on the road. Go ahead and take them out. They are a side objective to Fulton them out. However, right now, we can't be bothered to do that, so go ahead and take them out however you like. Head up into the valley. We're looking for a prisoner. This guy's kind of important since he develops one of our arm upgrades. Once he's out, start making your way north of Yokobo Supply Depot. It's quite a long distance, and while you're on the way, you're going to have to take out one of the armored vehicles at range using a rocket launcher. It can be a little tricky, but thankfully there aren't a lot of people here to notice you. Once that's out of the way, make your way over to where you marked. You can use the stance button to get to D-Horse's one side. This makes you basically invisible to everything on the other side of you. Once you're here, start setting up C4 on the road. All of the vehicles will have to pass by this road, making it a very easy choke point. Make sure to use your flare supply grenades. One of our side objectives is to not call in for a supply drop, but for some reason using the grenades sidesteps this. Be sure to set a cardboard box in the road in advance. A 4-wheel drive carrying a prisoner will pass by here. That box will stop them. Now, in an unfortunate twist of irony, the next mission has a prisoner who is a transport specialist. They will let you develop a Fulton that can take vehicles and large containers out, which would be very useful since one of our side objectives is to Fulton every vehicle. But since Fultoning armored vehicles is difficult without electromagnetic mines, you're really not going to do it this first time, and electromagnetic mines are very expensive, so you'll probably only develop them in the second chapter. Once the 4-wheel drive pops by, you can go ahead and take out the driver and his passenger. Fulton the prisoner out, keeping an eye on your C4 to make sure you blow up all the vehicles. Continue with taking out the armored vehicles, setting up C4, and calling in for supply drops when you run out. You'll eventually get a notice about a transport truck carrying something powerful. This is the CGM rocket launcher, a late game rocket launcher, but you can get one now temporarily for this mission, and we will need it because of its lock-on feature. We don't have to worry right now because the 4-wheel drive that the prisoner was in will stop the transport truck. When the truck drives by, go ahead and get the driver's attention. Once he's out, you can Fulton him out and take the CGM off the back of the truck. We'll be using it very soon. Once you've cleared the next wave of vehicles, you'll notice the last 2 vehicles coming in from very far away. Get on D-Horse and start making your way over to intercept them. Feel free to use the CGM here, since putting C4 down is a bit slow. Make sure you aim well, since we'll be using the CGM for the last vehicles after these ones. With all of the vehicles down, 3 tanks will spawn as well as a gunship. The CGM will be very useful for taking out the gunship. Make your way over to Lamar Hatte Palace. We'll take out the first tank here. Don't worry about the gunship since it's taking a large lap around the entire mission area. It would be wise to set up C4 on the ground before the tank gets there. If you want to get a tank's attention just for a few seconds, you can go ahead and shoot it with your assault rifle. It won't immediately suspect you, but it will turn around. Once the first vehicle's down, you can start making your way over to Waxend Barracks, and by now, the gunship will be taking its lap near you. Once it's in 200 meters, it'll be in lock-on range, so pull out your CGM and take aim. Continue heading over to Waxend Barracks. As usual, put the C4 down in advance and wait for the tank to roll over it. Once this tank is dealt with, start making way all the way back to Yokohama Supply Depot. As usual, keep to one side to avoid getting spotted. The soldiers really aren't that bright. Once you're here, you'll notice the last tank stuck on those vehicles we left behind. Go ahead and use any CGM left, and if you still can't kill it, you can use hand grenades. With all vehicles down, call in the helicopter, and leave this nightmare. It's at this point in the game you'll probably have received D-Dog. You'll have to return to Mother Base, and then call in the helicopter to trigger the cutscene. We have more work to do. With D-Dog in hand, deploy at the same spot, but this time there'll be a prisoner nearby. We skipped out on this since they weren't all that important, but go ahead and get them now. We're trying to get all of the prisoners. Now you remember the 4 dinguses from before? Go ahead and tranquilize all of them. Fulton them out, one more side objective down. Go ahead and get the cybernetic specialist from the valley, just like last time. The reason we wanted him in the first playthrough is because that was at the start of the game. For this run, we're coming back at near the end of the game, so having those upgrades early on makes a big difference. Now, sprint all the way over to Lamar Hotte Palace. There is a prisoner here. Don't worry, he's not very well guarded. He's in the cells just outside. Pick the lock, Fulton him out. Now, start running over to Yokohama up the road this time. Our next prisoner is hiding inside the river. Go ahead and Fulton them out. While you're here, you can go ahead and deal with one vehicle. We need to get at least one vehicle destroyed or Fultoned out, since we will fail the mission otherwise. That said, if you really don't care about it, you can always abort the mission. Whatever you decide to do, head up to the choke point like last time. We're going to intercept the 4-wheel drive carrying the prisoner from last time. Electromagnetic mines are useful, but a cardboard box is even better. With the prisoner out, Fulton him. And now we're going to start heading over to Waxin Barracks. Once you're here, clear a path towards the same spot you went to in Mission 5. The prisoner is here. Go ahead and Fulton him out. That's the last one. You can either abort the mission, or you can just wait for the time to run out, then Fulton yourself out on any of the containers. Lastly, we have to Fulton out every single vehicle. As I said before, the transport specialist was in the next mission, But without electromagnetic mines, it is very difficult to make an armored vehicle stop. So instead, we're coming back with the mines so we can Fulton out every vehicle easily. With stealth camo in hand, it shouldn't be too hard for you to do this. You can always head out into the field and Fulton out the vehicles early without having to wait for them. It's a lot of work and a lot of time wasted, but thankfully, it's not that hard. Mission 10 is pretty simple. We want to finish it very quickly and get the transport specialist, so bring a rocket launcher. Head all the way to Lamar Hate Palace, mark as many people as you like, and crawl your way forward. Once you're within range of the armored vehicle, lay into it with your rocket launcher. You will absolutely get spotted, but you really don't care. Whip out your assault rifle and shoot anyone that retaliates. Then, before the armored vehicle can, use either grenades or your rocket launcher to take out the armored vehicle. Be very careful you don't blow up the prisoner too. Now, with all that done, start heading forward and waste everyone. With good aim, you should be able to wipe out every single person here, and they'll leave the prisoner alone, so you don't have to worry about them. It does feel a little bad that we're not going to sneak through this mission, but we really need to get it done quickly if you want that S rank, and get the prisoners out. There are quite a few prisoners here, and odds are reinforcements will be on the way. We're in the clear, so call in the helicopter and prepare to leave. Mission well done. Coming back for our side objectives, you can feel free to leave Lamar Hate Palace untouched. We have to keep up with the armored vehicle to listen into the conversations, and taking too much time means we can miss out on the first conversation. That said, if you are very quick, you can get all of the prisoners out, but it's completely optional since we did it the first time. Regardless, make your way up to the armored vehicle, keeping an eye out for Dingus and Bingus over here. The first conversation will happen at the next guard post. Once they're done here, keep tailing them. It's quite tempting to try and Fulton the armored vehicle out right here, and even though it will work, we don't want to take out the vehicle right now. Keep telling them for their next conversation. This is the last conversation featuring the armored vehicle, so once they're done here, you can go ahead and Fulton out the armored vehicle. Be careful you don't get run over, so stay to the vehicle's side. You can stay outside of the outpost, you'll still be able to hear the conversations from here. Now just sit tight and wait for the rest of the conversations to play out. The prisoner will be moved to a cell and you'll get one last conversation. Once it's over, go ahead and clear out the entire outpost. There are 2 prisoners here, as well as our target, so the easiest way to clear everything out would be to Fulton out all the soldiers, break the anti-air equipment, and call in the helicopter right here. Mission well done. It's at this point you'll get the mission to deal with Emmerich. Before we can do that, we have to deal with Quiet. go ahead and bring a sniper rifle. Lethal or non-lethal will be fine. If you bring a non-lethal sniper rifle, you will have to lead your shots a tiny bit, but only a little. Go ahead and deal with the first guard post or just ignore it. It's really not a big deal. As you run forward into the ruins, you'll get shot at. Dive out of the way, and you'll start Mission 11. There isn't a lot to say about this mission. You'll start behind cover, and you really don't have to move out of this cover. With your sniper rifle at the ready, use your binoculars to mark Quiet. She can't see you while you're doing this from behind cover. Then, aim with your sniper rifle just for a second and pull back. Quiet will shoot at you, and then you can aim again and fire at her while she's readying her next shot. After taking a hit or firing too many shots, Quiet will move to a new position. You'll have to mark her again with your binoculars, and you'll lose sight of her. When she goes missing, use your binoculars to try and track her down. If you really can't find her, you can go ahead and peek from your cover again. You'll get an indicator telling you where Quiet is shooting you from, which will make it pretty easy to spot her next time. If you notice Quiet going very far left or very far right, it's a sign that she's getting very close to you, which means that you should take aim with your assault rifle instead and shoot her if she shows up. Before we finish dealing with Quiet, there's one last thing to deal with. There is an animal that spawns in this mission and only this mission, the Oriental Stork. If you brought a tranquilized sniper rifle or pistol, go ahead and take one out and Fulton it out. The bird isn't a side objective, but you might as well get it while you're here. When you're ready to deal with Quiet, walk up to her and skip the cutscene. Be careful when you skip the cutscene because if you use the fire button to skip it, you'll accidentally shoot her, which means you can't use her. Keep skipping the cutscenes, and now just wait for the helicopter to come in so you can take Quiet away. Keep skipping cutscenes and get your score. Now, one of our side objectives is to deal with Quiet without shooting her or dealing lethal damage. Not dealing lethal damage is pretty simple, but one thing you should know is that the stun arm and the rocket arm are both considered firearms. Instead, the best way to deal with Quiet would be to just punch her in the face, since punching her isn't a firearm. With stealth camo in hand, we're going to do a sprinting punch at her, since CQ seeing her normally isn't all that effective. To do a sprinting punch, equip your bionic arm as your weapon, then sprint and press the fire button. A solid hit will deal about half of her stamina. Do this again, and the mission's complete. One thing that a lot of us figured out when Metal Gear Solid 5 launched was that Quiet left in the second chapter. Now, a lot of people moaned about this and they made it so that you could get Quiet back, but you have to beat this mission 7 times. The easiest way to speed this up would be to equip your highest power sniper rifle and just try to two-shot Quiet. This makes things a lot faster, but it still will take a lot of time to do all 7 playthroughs. After 6 playthroughs, on the 7th you'll notice that the prefix for the mission has changed to Reunion. This will indicate that beating this one will finally bring Quiet back. Nothing about the fight is actually changed, it's the same as the previous 6 times. So really just blast her in the face like you've been doing this whole time. With the mission complete, you'll notice Quiet's bond is back, and if you check the brig, there she is. Now that we're finally done dealing with Quiet, we can go ahead and tackle Mission 12. The mission hasn't started yet, so you can feel free to take as much time as you need to prepare. We'll start by heading over to Sarak Power Plant and getting the invoice here. We'll have to travel from here to the Afghan base camp, and there's a lot of distance between us and there. To save time, we'll collect invoices first before starting the mission. You can easily make your way over here by climbing up the cliff on your right side, crawling over the pipe, and leaping down from the building to collect the invoice. Then just climb back up the building and leave the same way you came in. Once you're in the clear, get back on the horse and make your way over to Afghan base camp. The invoice is located on the other side of the base, so you'll have to make your way over there. You can take the time to destroy any equipment, or take out any soldiers that you like. Destroyed equipment will stay destroyed even through free roam into new missions. However, soldiers will respawn, so don't take that into account. Once you've collected the invoice, you can either go back to Sarak Power Plant using the invoice travel, or you can go back to Mother Base and redeploy to set the time back to night. Either way, you're going to have to make your way over to Sarak Power Plant so we can start the actual mission. Once you're here, you can feel free to clear out the place. The soldiers will respawn once the mission starts, but you can destroy the power generators and any other equipment. Once you're all set, head over to the objective indicator to start the actual mission. Feel free to skip the cutscenes. As soon as the mission starts, we're going to have to make our way over to Afghan base camp. There is an intel file here, but it isn't a side objective and we don't need it. It tells us where Emmerich is, but we already know where he is. Call your way over to the delivery point. We're going to invoice travel over to Afghan base camp to save us a lot of time. Once you're here, it's a matter of making our way over to Emmerich. He'll be just down the road across the strip. He's in the hangar in the corner of the base. Be careful when you start moving forward. Especially in areas that are well lit, you should stay low to the ground so that you can't be spotted. Especially so since on the other side of the hangar there is a sniper that can spot you pretty easily. Once you get over to Emmerich, you'll get a cutscene. With Emmerich in tow, the helicopter will be summoned for you, so we have to be quick. Call in D-Horse, ignore the walker gear, it's too slow. Get on D-Horse. With reflex mode enabled, start making your way over to the LZ, shooting anyone that spots you. Now that you're here, wait for the helicopter to land, skip the cutscenes, and we have to deal with Sahelanthropus. Get back on D-Horse and start making your way backwards. If Emmerich takes damage here, it's not a huge deal. We will be coming back for a second run where we can get that side objective. For now, do a large lap around the base camp. You'll have hopefully thrown Sahelanthropus off your tail, and be able to make it back to the entrance while he's looking for you. When you're told that you're not out of the woods yet, that means that he's sending out pods to look for you. You'll have to avoid them, but they will blow up after a while. However, you should be quick, because once they're gone, Sahelanthropus will go to puppy guard the helicopter, which will prevent it from landing and for you to escape the mission. With good luck and good pace, you'll be able to make it out pretty quickly. Now get on the minigun and shoot down Sahelanthropus. This really isn't that hard. You would have to try to fail this. And with the bot down, mission complete. For a second playthrough, you can feel free to clear out this first area. There are some containers here, and there's an intel file. Like I said before, this isn't a side objective, but you can go ahead and get it. Now we need to go back to the Afghan base camp, since our other side objectives are here. One of our side objectives is to get walker gears out. It's best to just clear the entire base camp out. It might seem a little excessive, but at the very least you can get the emblem part for clearing out the entire base. You can take out the walker gear pilots by just going up behind them and pulling them off. That, or you can just tranquilize them. Our second walker gear. Third and last walker gear. You can go ahead and take out the helicopter so it won't bother you anymore. It will disappear when Sahelanthropus disappears. Our next side objective is to get a poster. It's just inside the garage on the far side of the strip. Next we need to get a blueprint. It's inside the hangar that Emmerich isn't in. It's pretty easy to find since there are only 2 hangars. One of them has Emmerich and one of them has a blueprint. Now we need to deal with Sahelanthropus. As usual, we'll get back on D-Horse. This time, do your lap, but if you think Emmerich took damage, or if you took any damage, go ahead and restart from checkpoint. Since we're not playing for score, you can go ahead and restart as many times as you like. Everything's the same as usual, get back on the helicopter, shoot down Sahelanthropus, and a mission well done. Now I want to talk about something very briefly. The next mission, mission 13, we can't pick a time for when we deploy. This is going to be true for several missions we'll do from now on. You'll only have the option to deploy ASAP, which will set the time to whatever the time is once you deploy. The easiest way to bypass this would be to set Phantom Cigars in your inventory and unequip everything else, deploy to Mother Base, and use the Phantom Cigars to set the time to whatever you want it to be. To stop using the cigars, just press the same button you used to equip it. On a keyboard and mouse this would be 4. The reason you should unequip everything else is because deploying to Mother Base actually has a deployment cost. This cost doesn't apply if you already have the item equipped with you, so theoretically you could keep your Phantom Cigars with you at all times, since it won't incur a deployment cost unless you actually use them during a mission. The only reason taking them to Mother Base is a good idea is because deploying into an actual mission and using your Phantom Cigars can do you a lot more harm than good. It can fail you time-sensitive objectives, completely destroy your playtime score, and deploying into area of operations multiple times can increase the revenge system, which is a pain in the butt. Mission 13 is our first foray into Africa. It's a new area, but it's thankfully not all that different, except that sandstorms are replaced with rain. For this mission, make sure you bring C4. Skip the cutscenes, and once you land, we're going to have to make our way out of this jungle. The first village is Bola Yamasa. There is a side objective for us here, but we can't deal with it right now. Right now, just make your way across the town following the road. Once you're at the end of the town, keep an eye out for the 4-wheel drive. We'll be using it to get over to the oil field. Take a detour off the road to make sure you don't pass through the camp. Get back onto the road, be careful not to flip and die. Once you're at the burned village, we're looking for a bird. It'll be pretty easy to spot with D-Dog on hand. Just tranquilize the bird and Fulton it out. If you forgot to bring C4 with you, then that would be a good time to deploy it. Once you're at the oil field, you can either Fulton your 4-wheel drive out, or just leave it here. The oil field can be a pretty scary place to navigate since it's very well lit. Throughout your infiltration, the best bet is to just stay low to the ground and crawl. Getting spotted is obviously not something you want to do. Start by making your way over to the oily water separator tank. clear out the area by tranquilizing everyone, and pick the lock to the gate. Climb up to the separator tank and put C4 down next to it. We're not going to blow it up yet, so just leave it be. Start making your way over to the emergency shutoff switch. You'll have to climb the catwalks and make your way around. There are plenty of guards here, so keep your eyes up. If you feel like it, you can jump over the railing into the window. It's a little quicker, but it's also kind of risky if you get spotted. With the button pressed, skip the cutscene and make your way over to the eastern exit. Pick the lock to the area with the containers and blow up the C4. Skip the cutscene, climb on top of the container and Fulton yourself out. This will net us another side objective. And the mission, well done. At this point, you'll have D-Walker unlocked. He's pretty useless up until the end of the game, so feel free to develop him minimally. Following Mission 13, you'll have unlocked the legendary Gunsmith side ops. This is a lot more important right now, so we're going to deal with it first. The first side op will take you to Boal Yamasa. The first gunsmith is a guard patrolling the area with 3 other guards with him. To be frank, they're not all that difficult to take care of, just tranquilize all of them and Fulton them out. When you've cleared out the place, you can go ahead and leave by Fultoning yourself out on one of the containers. So that first guy wasn't actually a gunsmith, we have to do this again. This time we're going to Afghan base camp, start near the eastern entrance. This time he's a prisoner and he's being held at the firing range with some guards. Thankfully, he's not being fired at, he's just being held next to the guards, so clear a path, take the guards out, pretty simple stuff. With the prisoner out, you can go ahead and leave by Fultoning yourself out on one of the containers nearby. That guy wasn't the gunsmith either, but thankfully this one is the last one for real. And of course he's in Yoko Obo Supply Depot. Remember this place? To be honest, how you get the prisoner out is really up to you. I would recommend just clearing the place out so you can Fulton the soldiers and help level up Mother Base a little faster. This time you can Fulton the prisoner out, so we don't have to call in the helicopter for him. Once you're done, you can either call in the helicopter or leave on a container. Finally, you can now customize your weapons. The most important thing for you to do right now is to get the Run-Off Tranquilizer side grade and slap any of your suppressors on it. One of the quicker way to get a level 2 suppressor early on is to upgrade one of the lethal pistols. The starter lethal pistol has a pretty cheap upgrade to get the second level suppressor. The level 2 suppressor upgrade is very useful because the level 2 suppressor is much more durable. Coming back to mission 13 to deal with the other side objectives, head to Bal Yamasa. We're going to take out the child soldiers and Fulton them out. Thankfully, child soldiers don't really wear body armor, so it's pretty easy to take them out. However, once you start shooting at them, they will start moving. Once you've dealt with the children, go ahead and make your way back over to Mafinda oil field. Clear out the oil water separator tank again, and head back to the eastern exit. Instead of leaving, we're going to take out all the soldiers here. We want to take those walker gears out. Once you've cleared out the walker gears at this exit, go back to the exit you came from and there'll be 2 more walker gears. I don't know what they're just standing there for, but take them out. When they're all dealt with, you can feel free to leave however you like. Mission 14. Mission 14 is the beginning in a long line of. This mission's pretty easy to S rank, but to get all those side objectives is a pain in the butt. A lot of the missions that take place in Africa require you to listen to conversations as a side objective, so get used to it. When you deploy from the position that we've deployed in, you'll notice the OKPs around you. Feel free to Fulton them out. They only spawn in this area, but they aren't mission exclusive. They are, however, worth quite a lot of money. Head up to the camp and you'll see the translator, as well as his partner. Tranquilize everyone and Fulton them all out. Feel free to take the prisoner out too. He would have been moved over to Gunsmith camp, but we can get him out right now. Mark the spot northeast in the middle of the field. That is where the Viscount is. Before we do that, head west down the road. At the end of the camp, there's another prisoner here. Once he's out, head over to the spot you marked, slap on your night vision goggles, and keep an eye out for the Viscount. He'll be pretty hard to miss since he's in the middle of the field under a man-made structure. Instead of Fultoning him out, we're going to deal with some other prisoners first. Pick him up and start making your way over to Gunsmith camp. It's a pretty big place, but with Tranquilized Sniper Rifle in hand, it really won't be that difficult for you to clear out everyone here. Make your way over to the other end of the camp. Our last prisoner is here. and inside the little wooden shack is the intel file that would have told us where the prisoners were. We got them all out, but it is a side objective to look at it. Once you have, Fulton the Viscount out, and then Fulton yourself out on any of the nearby containers. Mission complete! Now for our side objectives. Deploy from the same spot but ignore the okapi. Run straight towards the translator and listen in on the first conversation. This brief conversation counts as one of the interrogations that you need to listen into to get the side objective. It's stupid, I know. Head over to the other prisoner at the end of this camp. Listen to this extremely long conversation. Once they're done, the translator will go ahead and make their way over to Kaziba camp. If you like, you can get this prisoner out. Now make your way over to Kaziba camp. Don't worry too much about clearing the soldiers out. If they go on alert, you'll have to restart this from checkpoint or the whole mission if things go horribly wrong. That is because it interrupts conversations and stops them from happening at all, which sucks, so you're better off playing it safe. Go ahead and listen to the rest of this conversation. Once the translator clears out, you can go ahead and take these prisoners. You should be careful because again, if you go on alert, you'll break all the conversations and you'll have to start again. Now head up onto the hill overlooking Kaziba camp, clear out the place. The Viscount and the translator will be moved to this location for the last conversation. And believe me, you have a lot of time to spare to clear out the place. So once you have, chill. Prepare for this to take a extreme amount of time. That is because the Viscount is walking from that field to here. And when I say walking, he sure is walking, alright? Eventually, after a few millennia, both the prisoner and the translator will make their way over here. If you brought the stun arm, feel free to charge it, otherwise you can peek in through the window and tranquilize them when the conversation is done. Once it's all clear, you can Fulton them all out, and then Fulton yourself out. The container here is a side objective, so make sure you take at least one. Thankfully, to take a break from that nightmare, Mission 15 is very simple. We just have to Fulton out walker gears. As soon as you deploy, start making your way over to the abandoned village. Keep to your right side. We're going to climb up to the very top and sweep it out. Keep your eyes up, you don't want to get spotted by Bingo and Bango. Coincidentally, the walker gears are here at the top of the hill. Just start tranquilizing everyone, and then we'll Fulton them out. Once you've cleared out this top area, you can go ahead and Fulton out the walker gears. The mission is basically done at this point, but we can go ahead and clear out the rest of the abandoned village to get all of our side objectives. There's a prisoner up here. Go ahead and Fulton him out. Now, just start heading down the hill and Fulton out the rest of the prisoners. You'll also notice the transport truck. This is another side objective, so make sure you Fulton it out too. Lastly, we want to get a plant, a luteal. Coincidentally, it's right behind the helicopter drop-off point, so we can get it as we call in the helicopter. Once you pick it up, you can climb into the helicopter and leave. A mission well done. If you haven't already, you should go do the side up to meet with Quiet and Ocelot. You'll get exposition of that for a while, and at this point in the game, you'll probably unlock Quiet for use in actual missions. After a brief cutscene, Quiet will be able to join. That's good, because for our next mission we'll be using her. Make sure you bring a rocket launcher. We're heading to Nova Braga Airport. All you have to do is follow the road and look for an entrance on the side of the wall. Once you're here, climb up over the wall and tranquilize as many people as you can. We're looking for 3 ZRS soldiers, as well as a truck driver, but odds are you probably won't get him. If you start the boss battle without tranquilizing the truck driver, he turns into a completely different NPC that won't count for the set objective. Once you get too close to the truck, you'll start the fight. Tranquilize anyone you can, and then run down the strip. Make your way over to the containers. This is where we'll be fighting. You should have sent Quiet here in advance so that she can help fire at the skulls. If you didn't, she'll have to run all the way over here while you're fighting. The fight will be a matter of just hiding behind the cover and using your rocket launcher to deal damage. If you see one of the skulls walking at you with their machete out, be prepared for a quick time event. Don't panic, just wait for the indicator to press the button. After a while, you'll be able to take down the skulls, and we're in the home clear. All you have to do now is Fulton out those ZRS soldiers you tranquilize. Fulton out the truck. And then Fulton yourself out. So I hope you like listening to conversations, because that's what we're going to be doing. Start by heading over to the marked area. There's an intel file here that counts for a side objective. Now head to the start of the predicted field of movement. Mark the armored vehicles, but don't bother them. Instead, run all the way back to Novigrad Airport. Just head to the same spot we did last time, but don't climb the wall this time. Just sit out here and listen to our first conversation. The truck driver will get in his vehicle and will start moving. Now you have to tail them to the next guard post. Once they're finally here, you're going to have to get close to the truck to start the conversation. Get too close, however, and you'll start the boss fight instead. You should keep your distance. Around 40 meters, you'll be able to hear the conversation, but within 35 meters, you'll start the fight. If this happens, just restart from checkpoint and try again. You can't be too close or you'll start the boss fight, but you can't be too far or the conversation won't start to begin with. It's buggy, it's terrible. This is the life we have to deal with. Once they're done blabbing, you're going to have to make your way over to Gunsmith camp. As usual, you should keep your distance. Find a good spot to bunker down and listen to the conversation. Once you hear the CP on the radio, go ahead and tranquilize the truck driver. He's done talking now, so we don't have to worry about him going down. When all said and done, it's time to actually start the fight. Run forward, skip the cutscene, and Fulton out the truck driver. Now you can either Fulton out the vehicles and then Fulton yourself out to skip the skulls, or if you brought a high-powered weapon, you can take out the skulls. Either way, Fulton out the truck, Fulton out the armored vehicles, and then Fulton yourself out. Mission 17 is pretty simple. All we have to do is get 2 prisoners out. Nothing crazy. Thankfully. Our first prisoner is in the swamp. Start running over there and tranquilize anyone you can. They're looking for him, but it should be pretty easy for you to figure out where he is. Once he's out, start heading over to where the second prisoner is. He's in the cells in Gunsmith camp. Clearing out Gunsmith camp should be something you're familiar with. No big deal, just clear out the path and make your way to the prisoner. We can't Fulton him out, so pick him up and call in the helicopter somewhere. Put him in. A mission well done. For our side objectives, we need to get the reinforcements looking for the first prisoner we got. Thankfully, they don't leave the mission area, so if you do miss them, you can always get them again later by just hunting them down. There will be quite a lot of reinforcements, including some armored soldiers, but you can take them out pretty easily with a stun arm. Once they cancel the search, the reinforcements will disperse. Again, you don't have to worry about them, you can always get them again later. Now we have to deal with the second prisoner because reinforcements are going there to execute him. First up is this transport truck. Go ahead and take them out. Simple stuff. Now the heavyweights are here on a 4-wheel drive. Again, pretty simple. Give them a few good shoots. We don't have to worry about the prisoner anymore. No one else is coming here to take him out. Two more things. In the hill overlooking Kaziba camp, there's a prisoner here. Lastly, we can go ahead and get any reinforcements that we missed out on. Track them down, Fulton them out. Now, run all the way back to the prisoner, pick him up, and finally leave. Mission 18. Mission 18 is painful. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about it too much for our first run. Nothing special, we just have to get some prisoners out, as per usual. As soon as you deploy, start heading over to Bampivi Plantation. We have to clear the entire place out because we need to take out the gunship. Yes, there's a gunship. Taking it down is going to be very important because if we don't, it will bite us in the butt when we try and leave. One of our targets is here. He's wearing a bright white shirt, so he's pretty hard to miss. All in all, you should just be careful about being spotted by the armored vehicle that runs down the middle of the road. Why is there an armored vehicle here? I don't know, but there is, so don't get spotted by it. Just move your way up forward and tranquilize everyone, clearing out the entire base. Then, hop onto any of the mounted guns and wipe out that gunship. With it down, clear out the rest of the place, and now you'll have to run to Kunginga Mine. If you have the invoice for it, you can go ahead and invoice travel, but it isn't a deal breaker for you to just run there. Once you're here, surprise surprise, we have to clear out the entire place. This time, one of our side objectives is to make sure no one sees the prisoners are gone. The best way to do this is to just tranquilize and Fulton everyone here, so that there's no one here to notice that they're gone. Once you finish clearing out the mine, you can head towards the target. Open the door, skip the cutscene, walk the dinosaur, pick up the wounded kid and start taking him outside. You'll have to call out to the children every now and then to make them move, but thankfully it's only a few times. From this first position, put the kid down, pull out your sniper rifle, and take out the first few guards. When the coast is clear, call out to the kids to make them move. Head forward, and move up to the fire pit. You'll have to tell the kids to move again here. Continue moving forward. We're past the first set of guards. Like last time, put the kid down, take out the next set of guards. You'll have to tell the kids to go again. Keep moving forward, past the second set. We're at the next set, just like last time. Put the kid down, shoot the guards, move forward. One last set of guards. From here, you can call in the helicopter. There are no more guards past this last set. Now move up to the helicopter and put the kid in. All you have to do now is wait for the other kids to get here, pick them up, and put them all in. And with that, a mission complete. Coming back for our second round, we have a lot of work to do. First off, there are 3 armored vehicles roaming the map, and the first one will be right outside where you drop. You can see it pretty clearly with night vision goggles. Run up to it and Fulton it out. Obviously, using stealth camo with electromagnetic mines makes this pretty easy. Although if you have D-Dog with you, if any animal gets in front of an armored vehicle, it'll stop, giving you an opportunity to Fulton it, which can save you a bit of time. With that one down, we need to go to the Bempewe plantation. Remember the armored vehicle from last time? We're gonna get him out. Instead of coming up the plantation, you can just come in from behind and put mines on the road. Next, clear out the plantation so you can get the first target. Now next up, start heading down the road. Instead of turning left to go down into Kungenga Mine, we're going to turn right and head all the way down the road. Left from the road at the very end, you'll see some snipers guarding the empty void of space and time itself. No, really, I have no idea why they're here. There's 2 of them here, Fulton them out. With those out of the way, start heading back up the road, past Kungenga Mine, and keep going down the road. At the next guard post, you'll see the last armored vehicle. You can go ahead and clear out this camp, there's not too many people here. Once you've finished up cleaning the place, you can go ahead and look for our last snipers. Down the road, to your right, in the middle of an empty field, you will find 3 more snipers. Again, I have no idea why they're here, what they're doing, or who put them here, but these guys are the last 3 for our side objective, so trank them all and Fulton them out. With all of that out of the way, you're free to finish a mission or just abort and leave. If you do plan on beating the rest of the mission, take note that you can Fulton out the first kid and not have to carry him. From here it's smooth sailing, just tranquilize everyone as you keep moving forward. The kids are so slow that you can really just shoot them as you see them. Yeah, in the helicopter. Thank God. Mission 19 is hilariously fast to finish, because all we have to do is Fulton the target out. The intended way to do this is to tail someone who will lead you to the target. We're just going to walk straight to the target and Fulton him out. As soon as you deploy, start heading towards Guard Post 13. Make sure you aren't spotted by the gunship. Once you're over there, head down right a little bit, and you'll eventually notice your intel team telling you that they spotted some threats. You can look on your map to see where they are. That's where the target is. Once you spot them, just start taking them out. Ideally, you would just shoot them in the body or in the legs, so that you can get them all dinked before any of them drop. Once you've got the target Fultoned out, you can Fulton out everyone else. And now to leave, all you have to do is walk out of the hot zone. And a mission well done. For our side objectives, start by heading over to Guard Post 16. There is a prisoner here. They're very lightly guarded, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to get them out. Once they're clear, head all the way back to Guard Post 13 to where the target was. We're going to listen to some conversations, but thankfully, they don't move very far from here. It's quite a long conversation, and a stun arm would help a lot, but you really don't have to do anything other than sit here and wait. With the objective clear, start zapping and dinking them. You just need to Fulton the guy you were supposed to tail. That's your last side objective. Mission 20 is our first encounter with the man on fire for real. We don't have to fight him, but we'll do it for the side objective. Start by heading to the marked spot. There's a valley in the wall that we can use to skip the first guard post. Once we're at the second guard post, we can clear out the place. There's an intel file we need here. It's a side objective. With that done, start heading up down the road. There's a small guard post here, but you can just walk by them. We'll be heading down into the river, and the bridge is out. Normally you would run down the valley covered in mist and sneak by everyone, but there's an easier way. It's called climbing up the cliff. For some reason you're able to just climb up the side of the cliff, completely invalidating that entire guard post. I don't know why, but hey, it makes things easier. Keeping to your right, you'll look for some cracks in the cliffside. You can climb up these and we'll go around the entire guard post this way. This is also important because we'll run into some wild dogs, and they're carrying some large diamonds, which are our side objective. Once you're through, start heading into the industrial zone. Head into the warehouse and keep moving forward and progress the cutscenes. After this, you'll encounter the man on fire, so turn around and run away. Just get out of there and keep running. Fighting the man on fire requires you to put water on him, and there are two ways to do this. You can either blow up the water towers, or you can blow up the gas tank to push him into the pool. Blowing up the water towers is as easy as using C4 or by shooting the red barrels while he's near him. Once he stops steaming, you'll notice the floating boy. You're going to have to shoot him. He will zip away, making it seem like it's impossible to shoot him, but after enough times, he'll eventually get hit. Just one hit, and we're done. You might need 2 knockdowns to take him down for sure. In my experience, it took around 20 shots to actually take down the floating boy. With the boy down, you can go ahead and try and Fulton the man on fire. It's not going to work, but doing this is a side objective. Now all you have to do is leave. If the tunnel is still intact, you can walk out, otherwise call in the helicopter. Coming back for our side objectives, head back to the same place after the valley, but instead turn right and head down the road. We're looking for the truck driver we're going to be listening into. Start tailing into the guard post and just wait for him. He's going to blab for a bit and then go look at the intel file. Once he's finished reading, you can go ahead and tail him to the next guard post. He'll have himself a little chat and proceed by foot. Once he starts moving, you can ignore him and climb up the cliffside as we did last time. Keep moving forward, and once you make it to the tents, all you have to do is wait for him to get here so you can listen in on his last conversation. You can go ahead and try and take down the man of fire if you didn't do it last time. If you didn't feel like taking him down, you would have had to call in the helicopter while he was stunned, or escape out of the tunnel without being spotted. So the next mission is a little bit interesting. Next up is mission 21, but as soon as we start that mission and once we get into it, we'll be interrupted to do mission 22. Mission 22 involves us retaking the platform, and of course that platform is the R&D platform. Dealing with this can be a bit troublesome, since the platform is very, very tall, very wide, very long, with poor sight lines and a lot of guards. I highly recommend going into free roam and doing some practice climbing up and down it to see the fastest way to get to the top. Our goal would be to take out a target at the very top. Now, if you really didn't feel like doing this mission, you could take a high-powered sniper rifle and just shoot the target as soon as you can see him. This would end the mission immediately. However, there is one thing to say, and it's that there are no ranks and there are no side objectives for this mission. So if you really want to do that, you're totally free to, but for this video, I'll be sneaking through it. Go ahead and deploy for mission 21 as you normally would. It would be wise to set the time to night. You'll find out shortly after. With the mission underway, all you need to do is run towards Nova Braga Airport and you'll get the notification telling you that Mother Base is under attack. Go ahead and accept the mission and deploy. You'll notice that you have to re-sortie, and this time you can't pick a time, you can't pick a buddy, so bring as much as you need. You're going to notice a few things right off the bat. As soon as you start the mission, you're on the helicopter and you're going to fly by Mother Base. This is going to immediately alert a bunch of soldiers. This is unavoidable. Next, you're going to notice that you can't call in for supply drops. This means that if your suppressor breaks or you run out of ammo, you're out of luck, so don't run out. You can go ahead and clear this first platform. If you have a large enough base, there may be prisoners on one of these platforms. If you're concerned about running out of ammo, you can go ahead and ignore the soldiers here. You can easily just crawl by them. Once you're done with this first platform, go ahead and take a look at the main platform. Use your binoculars and look for the target and any other soldiers. If you can mark him and you brought a sniper rifle and you really don't feel like doing this mission, you could just shoot him right then and there. A well-placed headshot will end the mission immediately. From this position, go ahead and mark as many soldiers as you can. We're going to have to climb this thing and there are many soldiers patrolling the outskirts of the platform. An easy way to get up to the top would be to climb up pipes. Once you're at the top, take out the target, if you didn't already kill him. You can go ahead and Fulton out the prisoners here, then Fulton out the target, and the mission's over. No rank, no objectives. Now we can actually tackle mission 21. Thankfully, it's not a particularly hard mission, we just need to get some targets out. As soon as you deploy, start heading towards Nova Braga Airport. Keep to your right side. We're going to head into one of the gates in the wall so we can avoid most of the enemies. You'll notice the hangar being guarded by walker gears. You'll have to take them out. The targets will be moving towards this location later on. You'll also notice the gunship. One of our targets is coming by, on that gunship, so don't get spotted by it. With the walker gears out, it's a matter of waiting. Feel free to mark one of our targets as he leaves the gunship. Now it's a matter of waiting for both of them to make their way over here. If you'd like to, you can put up your binoculars to listen to their conversation. Otherwise, mark them as they leave, and wait for them to make their way over to this hangar. Once they're nearby, tranquilize both of them. Thankfully, neither of them are wearing helmets, so it's pretty easy. When the coast is clear, go ahead and Fulton them out. And with both objectives done, you can Fulton yourself out on one of the containers. Easy peasy. Now for some more side objectives, and unfortunately, we have to listen to some more conversations. So the first conversation you could have listened in using your binoculars, or by just getting close to them and sitting down. When they're done here, head back to the hangar, and instead of taking them out, get inside the back of the truck in the hangar. They're going to get in this and start driving around. Don't worry if you brought D-Dog with you, even if D-Dog interrupts them, they'll continue with their conversation. Once they start moving, just sit tight. At the second hangar, just chill and wait for them to finish. Once they're done, they're going to go back to the control center. You're going to have to get off the truck and tail them inside. This is our last conversation, so if you brought a stun arm, go ahead and start charging it. Once they're done blabbering, give them a good zap. Now we need to take care of that gunship. It's pretty easy. Thankfully, they give us the means to do that right next to where it's parked. Get on the mortar and lob a shot at it. It shouldn't take more than a single hit. Once the gunship is down, go ahead and take the blueprint that it left behind. That's a side objective. Our last side objective is to get some containers. You notice them in the second hangar. Just Fulton the first two, and then Fulton yourself out on the last one. And mission well done. Mission 23 is thankfully not that hard at all. The only catch is that this mission is filled with child soldiers, so you're not going to be killing anyone. Once you deploy, skip the first guard post. There are side objectives there, but we can't do anything about it right now. Head over to Bala Yamasa, we're going to have to clear out the place. Thankfully, child soldiers don't wear body armor. They can wear helmets, but body armor is a no-go, which makes it pretty easy to take them out. Once you enter the village, you'll notice in one of the first buildings that there's a prisoner here. Go ahead and bring them out. From here, it'll be a matter of clearing out the town. It shouldn't be too hard considering your sniper rifle and the lack of armor. As you've been clearing out the place, we can go ahead and pick up a blueprint. It's not a side objective, but it's a very useful blueprint. The first aid manual will let you develop an upgrade for D-Dog that lets him Fulton out people. It's pretty useful since he can do it for free. Now we need to deal with the actual target. Eli can be pretty hard to hit, but thankfully from this position here at the port, you can get a very, very good shot on him. He's normally sitting down on his little throne, where you can just barely make out his head, but sometimes he gets up and walks around. Either way, you can get a clean headshot here. You will, however, need a more powerful tranquilizer to take him out, at least level 3. Pick up Eli, and the helicopter will be called in for you. And a mission well done. For our side objectives, head over to that camp we skipped over in the first run. With our child-safe Fulton ready, we can Fulton out all of the child soldiers we need, which is a side objective. You can also get the large diamonds here, which is another side objective. We're going to have to Fulton out a lot of these child soldiers, and at that point we might as well get them all, so really all you have to do is just Fulton out everyone. Shouldn't be too tricky considering your equipment at this point in the game. With all the child soldiers out, you can go ahead and take out Eli again. Not particularly hard. And a job well done. Thankfully, mission 24 isn't that hard at all. We just have to get 2 prisoners out. However, there are a lot of really obtuse side objectives. Start by heading towards the guard post. You should be pretty familiar with how to get here after mission 20. Now all you have to do is take out everyone. Shouldn't be too hard. You're going to quickly notice some reinforcements on a 4-wheel drive. Take them out. Now quickly, you're going to notice one of the prisoners make their move. Don't let them get too far and Fulton them out immediately. That's 1 out of 2. We're going to ignore the second prisoner for now. As you continue to clear out the place, you'll notice the second set of reinforcements on a second 4-wheel drive. Take them out. You may have also noticed the Caracal sheeps wandering about. Go ahead and mark them as you're doing this. We will have to Fulton them out. When you're done with the guards, go ahead and tranquilize the sheep and start Fultoning them out. That's another side objective. Remember to take those 4-wheel drives, those are a side objective. Now before we leave, we have to go and look for a bird. I mean that. Start sprinting south down the road and look onto the cliffs on your right side. You'll eventually see a bird. Go ahead and throw something at him to get him off his perch. When he starts moving, hit him with a tranquilizer. Once he's out of commission, Fulton him out. That's our side objective. But we're not done yet. Keep going south and look up onto the cliffs. You'll spot the African peach up on the rocks. We need to get that. When the coast is clear, climb up, pick it. 1 more side objective down. Now head back to where the prisoner was. Fulton them out. Now all we have to do is Fulton ourselves out on one of the containers. Finishing this mission, you'll get a cutscene. Feel free to watch it.
Here we go! So long, Bowser!
Stop this! Now!
Oh.
We have one last side objective, and that's to get some containers out. This objective's a bit misleading. You actually have to go to guard post 16 and get the containers out there. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this the way I did it. Fultoning yourself out on a container early without beating the mission will cause you to lose heroism. This can be kind of problematic, but it really isn't a big deal. Although ideally, you should just abort missions if you want to save your side objective progress and not have to beat the rest of the mission. Mission 25. Similar to Mission 23, there's a lot of child soldiers here. You'll get a point to go do some recon. It's kind of weird that they tell you this at this far into the game. You can go ahead and do it if you like. The first thing you should do is head straight down south of the guard post. There is a prisoner here and we want to get them. Leave them out for too long and they'll get killed by some wild dogs. As you make your way there, you're going to notice the child soldiers. Tranquilize them. You'll notice the wild dogs. That's a good sign that you're in the right spot. Tranquilize them and then look out for your prisoner. Once he's out, start heading towards the big rock. It's pretty hard to miss. We need to climb up this giant hill. Yes, there's a good reason for this. And by yes, it's a good reason, I mean no, it's a dumb side objective. You can go ahead and do some more recon from this position, tranquilizing anyone you'd like. Remember that we can't Fulton them out right now since we don't have a child-safe Fulton. Once you're at the top of the hill, look for the Purpurea. Once you've gotten all three, that's another side objective down. Time to deal with the actual target. The first target is a child soldier, wearing a nice beret. He'll be pretty hard to miss. Our second target is a prisoner here. Go ahead and put him into the 4-wheel drive nearby, but do not Fulton out the 4-wheel drive. Go ahead and pick up the other target, put him in the Jeep too. Don't Fulton it out. Instead, get into the driver's seat and drive out of the mission area. And with all that, mission well done. Following this mission, you're going to get a notice about the quarantine. Since this is pretty important for your first playthrough, we're going to deal with it right now. You're going to get blabbed on in a bit of a tutorial about how the quarantine platform works. Really, it's just another platform that you can put soldiers on. The idea is that you're going to put soldiers in that you think are infected into the quarantine platform. You probably already knew this just because of hearsay, but if you've been actively avoiding it and you need to know now, what you have to do is look for soldiers with Kukongo as one of their languages, select them, and put them into the quarantine platform. This is going to take you a bit of time since you probably have a lot of soldiers, but it'll be worth it since you don't want any of them dying, especially if they have useful skills on them. Thankfully for us, Mission 26 is in our favorite spot, Tatati Abandoned Village. We'll start by deploying near there. Make sure to bring D-Dog with you, we're going to do some tracking. Once you're here, head toward the village and start clearing the place out just as you did last time. At the top of this camp, you're going to notice the intel file here. You're going to want to get this. Not only is it a side objective, but it'll tell us where the targets are. You'll also have noticed some of the prisoners here. We're going to have to get them out before we do anything else. The first one is here at the top. Pretty hard to miss. The second is just down the hill. The next prisoner is in the ruined building. Our last prisoner is in the tent at the very bottom of the camp. Now start making your way over to the predicted field of movement. Keep an eye out for our targets. They'll be pretty hard to miss with night vision on. Once you're within range, start taking them out with your sniper rifle. Pick up the target, but don't Fulton them out just yet. We have one last thing to do. Start looking for some wild dogs. D-Dog will make this very easy. These guys are a side objective. Make sure you get them out. Once you Fulton them, you can go ahead and call in the helicopter. And with that, we have all of our side objectives, and a mission well done. Mission 27 is thankfully not that long either. We just have to get one prisoner out. As soon as you deploy, start making your way over to the target. When the guard post is in view, start tranquilizing everyone. Go for body shots. Once you've hit everyone at least once, start making your way over to the target. Keep your guard up, and walk towards the prisoner. He was going to get into the truck and start driving. Instead, put him into the passenger seat and you get into the driver's. Try not to hit anyone as you leave. And when you're out of there, mission well done. Mission 28 is our first encounter with the sniper skulls, and really, you don't have to fight them. This mission seems a bit tricky at first, but it's actually pretty trivial. Once you're in the valley, just start running forward. Once the mist rolls in, that's how you know the skulls are about to come into the show. Regardless of whether or not you get spotted, all you have to do is get past these guys without dying. All you have to do here is just crawl down the valley. Again, if you get spotted, it's not a big deal. You do not want to take out all 4 of the skulls. That drastically changes how the mission ends, and doing so will make things much more difficult for us. So instead, climb up the cracks in the cliffside and make your way over to the mansion. Once you're at the mansion, all you have to do is take care of Spotlight Guy. Literally just walk right by him. Instead of heading into the front entrance of the mansion, go ahead and make your way into the side, taking out Bringo and Brongo. Now just head into the door when the coast is clear. Once you're through, turn to your left, into the door, and you're already at Kotaker. As always, skip cutscenes and start walking. Now depending on how we deal with the skulls, something different happens here. If at least one of them is alive, all of the soldiers turn into puppet soldiers, which is very easy to deal with, but take all 4 of them out and they'll all be regular soldiers and on alert, which is much more difficult to deal with. As a side note, you can use the right SMG to farm soldiers here. It's very easy to hit them with the SMG even while carrying Kotaker, and a single hit will take them out. Filtering out puppet soldiers gives them a bonus to their stats, so that's pretty helpful. With Kotaker in hand, you can go ahead and start making your way down into the jungle, back the same way you came in. Thankfully, the skulls can't really see you very well here, the canopy covers you pretty well, and the skulls are pretty much deaf. In fact, they are deaf. Call in the helicopter and make your way over there. Put Kotaker in, and it's a mission well done. Now to get the remaining side objectives, we need to deal with the skulls this time. This means taking them out. If you have stealth camo, this makes it pretty easy, otherwise you're going to have to camp them out from behind a rock, otherwise you're going to get ganged up on by all 4 of them and it's not going to be fun. This is pretty much the same strategy we use for dealing with Quiet, except this time they have laser sights, which makes it a lot easier to spot them. Once you've taken down most of the skulls, start heading over to where their bodies are. You need to Fulton out at least one of them for an additional side objective. If you take out all 4, they'll jump out of the mission area, leaving you unable to get that side objective. So make sure you do this before taking out the last one. With all of them down, start heading over to the mansion. Again, get past Spotlight Dude. We need to clear out the entire mansion. The stun arm makes this a lot easier, otherwise just clear it out at your own pace. Free soldiers are free soldiers. While you're here, you'll also want to get the Brennian blueprint. This is not a side objective, but this sniper rifle is very, very useful, so make sure you get this while you're here. If you would like to, you could have gotten that blueprint during your first run, finish clearing out the mansion, then head over to Kotaker. Once you pick him up, because we took out all of the skulls, the soldiers are here, respawned, and on alert. Go ahead and put Kotaker down just out the door where you got him, and start clearing out the place again. You can go ahead and take out the gunship. Doing so isn't a side objective, but we don't like gunships, so take it out. Now start making your way over to the other exit. There's an armored vehicle on the bridge here, and we want to get it out for a side objective. Once you're done being pestered about leaving Kotaker behind, go back and get him. Then bring him over to the nearest LZ and finish this mission. Mission 29 is a boss fight, so bring Quiet with you, preferably your best armor and a rocket launcher as well. Remembering to skip all of your cutscenes. Now head straight towards into the hangar. The skulls really don't like going into this building, so you can camp them out from inside here. There isn't a whole lot to say other than it's a matter of attrition. While we're here, I'm going to take the time to explain something that was pretty important that you're going to need to know for this fight. This is going to be pretty important for when you fight these guys on hard mode. You'll notice one of their attacks causes a spike to shoot out from the ground. You're going to want to dive away from this as soon as you can. Then, when you're out of range, shoot it to blow it up using your assault rifle. This attack on hard mode difficulties is a one-shot kill, and the skulls can shoot it to blow it up early. You especially want to learn that pattern and avoid it whenever possible, because it is genuinely their most deadly attack. If you're running low on health, you can hang out on the airplane's wing. Rock spikes can't spawn there, and they generally won't be able to hit you from here. Continue taking out the skulls. With all of them down, go ahead and make your way over to Kotaker. The helicopter will be called in. All you have to do is wait for it and finish the mission. For our second playthrough, nothing's different. We just need to take down the skulls and Fulton them out this time. A high-powered sniper rifle makes quick work of the skulls, so having that Brainium blueprint will really help you. One thing that can be pretty helpful to know is that the skulls are weak to water. Spraying them with the water pistol will stun them momentarily. You can use the opportunity you get from doing this to shoot them again, to Fulton out one of the skulls, to recover, mark them, whatever you like. Completion of Mission 29 will end the quarantine. This means that we can go deal with other things like side ops. One side op you might have noticed is Eli. He's back and he's ready to have his ass kicked again. Instead of deploying right on top of him, deploy onto a platform adjacent to where he is. Then, just crawl up to him and start sniping him. He's honestly not that hard to take out, even without your buddy with you. Just use your sonar arm to find out where he is, crawl up to him, and snipe him in the face. With Eli out of the way, you'll get his conch. This will let you develop child-safe Fultons, an upgrade that you've probably been wanting for a very long time. The infamous Mission 30. We're going to cheese this mission. Bring D-Walker with any upgrades, and also your shield and armor. We are finally going to make use of that PB shield. The reason why we cheese this mission is because OKB0 is extremely large and extremely difficult to sneak through. Both of these combined means that it's going to take you a very long time to beat this mission normally, which will completely obliterate any rank you get. So instead, get on D-Walker and do it. Once you've made it to the end of OKB0, start sprinting up the stairs. Try not to waste too much time, we don't want D-Walker to get blown up. Once you're at the top of the stairs, head over to the helipad, and skip the cutscenes. Again, a long cutscene like this will destroy your rank, so skip it. There is a lot of stuff for us to do in OKB0 for all our side objectives. Starting at the first gate, you'll notice one of the walker gears. This is the first of many, so get it out of there. With the walker gear out, we're done with the first gate, so head towards the second one. At the second gate, you'll notice one more walker gears. Take it out. You'll also notice one of the tanks. Take that out as well. And head over to the third gate. You'll notice the red containers. Fulton these out. These are the first 4. Our next walker gear, take that out as well. Our next tank. Now head past this gate. Feel free to take down the gunship. Our next container. Our last tank. And our last 2 containers. Finally, take our last walker gear. The only thing left for us now is to get a cassette tape at the top of the stairs. Just turn to your left and it's over there. Head down into the stairs and go get it. With that, the mission's done. You can feel free to watch the cutscenes this time, since they're pretty gold.
Who is doing this? Such a lust for revenge?
The conclusion draws near. It's time to prepare for the final fight. Go ahead and upgrade D-Walker and your helicopter. D-Walker will be especially useful, and the helicopter will be here fighting with you whether you want it or not. With rocket launcher in hand, begin mission 31. The first thing you should do is get on D-Walker and make your way down the road. There are some armored vehicles here that we want to use to cheese out some of Salanthropus' health bar. You're going to have to kite Salanthropus, otherwise he's going to use his dick flamethrower to destroy your vehicle. Just gain some distance on him and keep firing. Focus your fire on his head until it blows up. That's one of our side objectives. The fight honestly isn't that hard, since this will do most of the damage to him. Eventually, Salanthropus will spread metallic archaea in the air, which is a red mist. It'll deal a lot of damage to your vehicles. With your vehicle down, you can go ahead and start taking down Salanthropus on foot. Your rocket launcher will deal most of the damage, and you can use your assault rifle to shoot the rockets that he'll send after you or at your helicopter. When Salanthropus jumps far away, he's lining up his railgun attack. It's his most dangerous attack, but you can avoid it by putting a large rock between you and him. If the fight's taking a long time, don't forget you have D-Walker with you. He has a lot of ammo in his minigun, so you can spray into Salanthropus for a lot of damage. The last thing to know is when Salanthropus is low on health and he jumps away, he's doing his desperation attack. This is our only chance for a side objective, so when he jumps at you, shoot the floating boy. This will stun Salanthropus, giving you a good opportunity to get damage in. This is pretty much the game's way of closing out the fight, to stop this from taking too long. With enough bullets, you'll take down Salanthropus. And with that, all side objectives, Chapter 1 is done.